All right, we're on another series of The Hot Seat. We've got my partner here, Jesse Morfin Garcia, and myself, Jaime, and today's guest is Eddied Salinas.
It's running.
Eddie, give us a little insight about what your daily life is like.
What's up, man? Oh, man, my daily life is hectic right now. We have, me and my wife just gave birth. Well, my wife gave birth to two twin boys, so it's
Congratulations.
and waking up in the middle of the night, feeding them, changing them. She's doing most of the work right now. But, you know, my daily routine, man, is always something different. I get up, try to get to the office by 8. I meet with my partner, Rudy, and we go, you know, kind of over what we got to go through as far as the properties, the projects that we have going on. And we have to go inspect properties that we're going to be purchasing. We go to properties that are already listed to make sure that, the gardening is done, that no one broke in. So every day is completely different, to be quite honest with you. I don't really have a set schedule or a system in place that I follow every day. Every day is completely different.
Okay, all right. So what do you do for a living?
I buy and flip properties.
Okay, all right.
Now, do you have a system in place when you buy and flip these properties? Like, I've talked to investors before where they actually have like a demo crew, cleaning crew. Do you have that in place, or how does your system work?
Yeah, so luckily for me, my partner's, his name is Rudy Morales. He's a general contractor. He's been around the business for a long time. He actually came from Ricardo Acevedo's team, who, as a lot of people know, is one of the biggest flippers in the area. Rudy worked with him side by side for a long time. Then Rudy went out on his own, came over here to our office, and we kind of partner up on the flips. So I have the experience of someone that's been doing it for a long time, and on top of that, he's a general contractor. So, I've been lucky enough, and I say lucky and blessed, because I got thrown into the game with people that have been in the game for a long time, like people like Jesse, Rudy, my buddy Kevin Messiah, my buddy Kevin Watson. They've been around the game for a while with flips, and they've taught me the ropes on how to get started. Whereas other investors that start in the business, they don't have that luxury. I have the luxury of basically coming in and having experienced people that have had not only experience in the real estate and flipping game, but also they know what to look out for, what to avoid, how to structure the deal correctly. I learn from them. Whereas other people that start in the business, they learn by trial and error. I kind of learned by listening to them and being mentored by them, and I avoided a lot of mistakes, to be quite honest with you. So,
and looking at you now, you look a little more, at ease, a little more relaxed. You were a little more on the stressed out part late last year, right?
Yeah, super. It was edgy. It was very bad. It wasn't bad. It was a learning experience that I went through last year.
What did you learn?
That bigger is not better, man. I've learned that, everyone has their own goals, admirations, call it dreams or, whatever you want to call it. I'm a simple kind of guy. I live a simple life. To me, having enough money in the bank to, pay for my mortgage, my parents, making sure that my wife and kids are taken care of, that to me is more than enough. Now, mind you, I don't want to take away from anyone that wants to make $1 million or multi-million dollars. That's great. That's what makes them happy. But to me, bigger is not better. And last year we had a goal of, I believe it was 100 flips. And what I mean by that is not like, 20 of them were assignments. There was 100 properties that we bought, we rehabbed, and we sold. And that was the goal. And I believe we ended up with 73 at the end of the year.
73. Okay. All right. So hold on real quick. So is that something you learned based on the experience that you went after that 100? And now you're like, hey, you know what? Let me pump the brakes.
Yeah, because, some of us are not wired to do the level of properties that I thought we or I or my team could handle. It doesn't mean that we can't get to that point, but I think that you have to grow organically within your company. It just got too much to handle for me and Rudy to do so many projects going at once that things were falling through the cracks. Contractors were not doing their jobs. And with so many properties going on at one time, we both kind of made mistakes in the fact that we weren't following up with the, with the contractors. Some of the deals we bought just because we were hungry and because we thought it was a deal. So I've learned that not every deal is a good deal, and not all money is good money. Sometimes forcing a deal because you think it's good, it's not the best thing. If it happens naturally, then take it. If not, then let it go. There's too many deals out there.
Did you lose any money on any
God,
deals
absolutely.
last year?
I lost my ass off on some. Oh yeah.
How many deals did you do prior to going after that goal? How many were you doing?
So 2017, we did 25 flips.
And you tried after that to go towards 100.
Correct.
Damn. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. That's a big leap.
Yeah, it was huge, man. And we, and to be quite honest with you, we would have accomplished it if I stopped buying in July. I stopped buying properties in July. So halfway, July is the 7th month of the year. In July, I stopped buying properties, and we were already at that number. But
now, were you using hard money, or was this money within you guys, or what was it?
Yeah, it's money. Me and my partner Danny Morel. It's our money that we have basically saved up throughout the whole, throughout our lifetime, if you want to call it that, and we use our money to get them.
What So you were a little stressed out.
Yeah.
You
a lot stressed out. The babies came. It was Christmas.
I was gonna say, yeah, you still have time to make babies.
What's crazy, man? It was to be quite honest with you, it was such a learning experience that I went through, man. That I'm a little more at ease now because my faith got tested. I'm not here to preach, about religion, but I'm a big believer in my Bible. I'm a big believer in Jesus Christ, and I believe that He put me through a trial and tribulation, period. Not to test me as far as me being strong, but to test my faith. Because I got tested about 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I went through a really bad depression. You remember, Jesse. I thought about committing suicide because business was slow. Rudy, my partner, got me out of it. To be quite honest with you guys, he was here every day, getting, telling me we got to go to church, get it out of it. So this time was a little different because the first time 3 years ago, I got depressed because I didn't have any business. This time I was stressed out because I had too much business. So I tell people all the time, sometimes God gives you what you want just to show you that it's not what you need. I kept praying and praying and praying. Hey, dear Lord, just bless my business, show me favor in my business so that I could give back to, my church, give back to my parents, give back to whoever. And I think, Jesus said, okay, cool. I'm going to give it to you, but then you're going to realize that that's not what you wanted. And at the, towards the end of the year, I realized, man, I asked, He gave me what I wanted, but it's not really what I wanted. I realized that it's not something that I needed in my life. It's not something that I did not want. It's something that I cannot handle. And it showed me what I really do need and want. And it's, smaller for me, for my business, for my model that I want to do now. Smaller is better. Being more picky with the deals that we're getting. Being more picky with the people that I do business with. Last year I was doing business with anyone and everyone that brought me a deal. Now I'm extremely selective with people that I do business with because I want to develop the relationship that is going to not only blossom my business, but it's going to blossom our personal relationship. Jesse, Kevin Watson, Kevin Messiah, Rudy.
Do you believe that was something that you had to go through to calm you down?
Absolutely. Personally, yeah, I had to do that. I had to go through that. Some of us, at least for myself, I'll be honest, I'm a very hard-headed person. Some of us, at least for myself, I have to go through shit to learn. You could tell me, don't do that. Learn from my mistakes. But if I see something that, oh, you know what, it looks good, let me go through it. I have to go through it to learn. Otherwise, I would never learn. And that's one of my flaws. That's a flaw of mine that I have to go through issues or have to go through tribulations in order for me to be like, damn, he was right or they were right or I should have known better.
So what are you doing right now to be one? Like, are you picking up the Bible? Are you meditating? What are you doing?
I'm extremely close to my pastor. I go to church at least twice a week. Well, at least, we watch it online because we can't go right now. The babies are too little to take to church. It's too cold for us to take them out. But if, before the babies were born, I was going to church twice a week. I'll go to Bible study on Thursdays, and I try to meet with my pastor at least every Monday, just to have like a one-on-one conversation with him and just have him kind of influence me a little bit in my life. It's a little bit of a different relationship that I have with him that I have with, you, Jesse, or anybody else. It's a different conversation.
So Eddie, when you were in that dark place 3 years ago, let's fast forward now to the babies. Where are you today?
Man, I'm in a different peaceful spot now. I think my family values and my family mentality has grown. I've always been a pretty family-oriented guy. I love my parents to death. They're probably the most important thing in my life next to my wife and my kids. But now it's just different, man. They watch my babies every day. To see my mom and dad, when they see them, it's like a different joy. I wish I could explain it to you guys, but when my dad sees my babies, man, like his face, my mom's face just lights up. We're becoming a lot closer because they watch the babies. My relationship with my partner Rudy and my buddy Uriel, and even you, Jesse, and people that are close in my life has kind of not solidified itself, but it's grown into a different kind of love. Before, when I was with my wife and doing all these deals, I've never been one to post on Facebook or Instagram, I'm doing all these deals, look at me. It's never been about that. But now, the level of love and the level of comfort that I have in my life as far as being family oriented and being in tune with my friends kind of supersedes the fact that, hey, I want to be a big flipper and I want to be the big man and I want to do 100 flips, and that's not important to me anymore. It is. It's important to me because obviously we need to work to feed our families. But what's more important to me now is going home early. Like I made an exception to be in here. I would be home right now with my babies, but I love you, so I'm here.
Thank you.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm making a point to be home, with my babies. I spend time with them every day now. Obviously, I don't know, I want to.
So sorry to cut you off now. So I remember when Nicole was pregnant, right?
Yeah.
It still hadn't hit you yet, right?
Not at all. Zero. It didn't hit me till they were born. Period.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I even asked my dad about that because, she had a connection with the babies right off the bat, obviously, when she got pregnant. And I felt guilty. I'm like, fuck, I don't feel it. Well, sorry if I curse. I don't feel.
No worries.
I don't feel a connection with the babies. I don't feel a connection with her. They would kick, whatever. She would tell me, hey, look, touch it here. I'm like, I'm watching TV. Like, it wasn't never important. But when they were born, man, it was, for anyone that's a parent out there, they could understand. If you're not a parent, I wish I could explain it to you. But when they were born, I guess I had an awakening to realize my purpose in life. And now it's making sure that they're good, God-fearing men when they grow up, that they're good, wholesome, human beings, that they take care of people, and they're my responsibility. And now they kind of taught me that, the glamour of business, the glamour of being successful, the glamour of money, the glamour of, all the materialistic things in life, which they're perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with people that want those things. To me, I just want to put little hats on my babies' heads and play with them and be close to them.
So are you now, like Team Jesse, the way that, I operate?
I've always said that I was, I've always told you that I not only respect, but I admire the way that you kind of base your business according to your family values. I was always that way too, until the babies were born. That solidified it because, you know me, I've never been someone to, and mind you, I hope I don't offend anybody, but I don't need the latest car. I don't need the latest, none of that. There's nothing wrong with people wanting to buy that. There's nothing wrong with people wanting to purchase or reward themselves for their fruits of their labor. I'm just different. To me, that's irrelevant. To me, making money is for me to be able to help other people, not to help myself.
And that's one thing that I could honestly say about you, Eddie. In the last 3 years, I have seen tremendous growth, and it's inner growth that I'm talking about. And I'll tell you, it wasn't even like growth as in businessman. It was a growth of Eddie. And that's one of the things that, I always tell everyone. It's like, hey, who are you? who really are you and who do you really want to be?
Yep.
It's crazy because even for me knowing you now, it's going to be 8-9 years, I think.
Yeah.
But did you see yourself having a family?
Nah, bro. Well, shit, you met me, I think, when I was coming out of jail. I think as you had just joined Intero, and I think you were at the office, and I think I showed up the day before we had our Christmas party. That I had gotten released from jail literally the day before we were having our
Wait a minute. Let's back up. What were you in jail for?
I used to sell drugs, dude. I was a big drug dealer, man.
Oh, so you're always a salesman.
Yeah, I got busted by the feds for selling steroids, and I did some time in prison. So
Oh, wow.
that had a little bit. That was one of the reasons why my mind shifted from one thing, and I wanted to get into business and become legit. I didn't want to, I've had a couple of growth spurts, if you call it. When I was younger, I was raised by wonderful parents, man. A lot of people say, well, how come you're this way? My mom and dad, wonderful parents, strict. It was basically me making the bad choices and the bad decisions, not because of my background or not because of where I came from, not because I was poor. I don't come from a poor family. My dad and mom worked to provide for us whatever we needed. So it's not something that I grew in, it's not something that I was raised with. It was just, I realized that I can make some money doing this and I can make a lot of money doing it. And I just chose to go that route. It had nothing to do with my upbringing, had nothing to do with my environment. So I've always been someone that takes full responsibility for what I do. And I've always told people.
I really appreciate that and honor that, because it's kind of like I want people out there that are watching this to realize, you as a person have gone through a lot of stuff and you've made certain choices, but yet you're still, your mindset has shifted now to where now you're like looking at things in a more positive way.
You have to.
What would you tell people out there?
It's a choice, man. It really is a choice because when I got out of jail, I was making no money. I went from making 20 grand a month cash to making no money. And when I joined, I didn't join Intero. I came and, Danny, hey, let's get you out of this bullshit that you're doing and give you something more positive, man. You can't be a 35-year-old drug dealer. And it's true. I was thinking about my future and saying, okay, eventually I'm going to end up getting married. Eventually I want to have children. I can't be that drug dealing dad. I can't be that way. So I always thought about my future. I just never envisioned it. So when I got out of jail, I realized, okay, I can't do what I was doing before because if I do it, I'm going to go back to prison again. And I've been busted a few times. There wasn't.
So do you think that all these changes, they just happened like in a blink of an eye? I mean, like, can you relate to the last, 7 or 8 years where it's like, man, the season is just flying by?
Yeah. What's funny, man? I tell people, one decision could change your whole life. Like one deal could change your life. One bad mistake could change your whole life. We don't see it that way, but I've experienced it. I've been, doing business and real estate long enough to know one deal could completely change your life for the positive or for the negative. A business relationship could do the same thing. I've been blessed with business relationships with people that have opened up doors in my life that have enabled me to do what I do now. And it was just being introduced by someone or knowing you, Jesse, being here at the office, Rudy coming in from the Acevedo team, things like that happening at the blink of an eye. We just don't see it until after. You're like, oh, wait a minute, shit, that happened. Yeah, damn, that was so quick that you just don't even recognize it. The same thing when I was selling drugs, made a lot of money. I got caught once. That quick, I was gone.
So since life moves very quickly,
yeah,
especially, when we catch a really good wave, a real estate wave, a buy and hold, a flip wave, whatever it is, when do you want to literally tune it down so that you can enjoy the scenery? Like,
that's a great question, dude. And that's a personal, I think, answer for everyone. Everyone is different. When I was selling steroids, when I first started selling steroids, I remember as vividly, man. I went to TJ and I bought 5 bottles. I made $150 on my first drug deal. And I thought I was like, oh, damn. I paid for my own personal use. Right? I buy my drugs. I bought someone else's drugs. I charged the dude like triple, and it paid for my drugs, and it paid for his, and I made some money. And I remember it vividly. I'm like, man, if I could make like $1,000 a month, I will be happy. $1,000 happened, and it didn't make me happy. Then I said, okay, cool. If I make whatever, it was $5,000 a month, because that would pay for my mortgage and my car or all this other shit.
What kind of car do you have?
I have a Prius now.
No. What kind of car did you have at that time?
A Ferrari 360 Modena.
Oh, okay.
That's it?
No, and I had a 640 BMW. I had a 7 Series BMW at that time. I was living that lifestyle.
How is it?
You had the toys. Okay.
Let's just say that you could have all these things, but were you feeling like fulfilled?
I was feeling voids, man. And that's what I think that's what happens with most of us. We try to fill voids by buying materialistic things, thinking that that's going to make us happy, because in the eyes of others, they'll be like, oh, damn, he's successful, or he's balling, or he's doing bomb, or, I think we rely too much on other people telling us that we're doing good, and we don't tell each other or ourselves, hey, man, you're good enough. Like, I'm cool. Like, honestly, man, my boy Danny, my best friend Danny, always makes jokes about me not buying jeans. Bro, it's true. It's not a joke. I don't think I've bought jeans in like the last 10 years. I think he took me to buy jeans like 2 years ago for like my
Well, what do you wear?
I wear jeans, bro, but they're like 10 or 12 years old. Like, I don't give a shit.
Oh, so you're not buying $100 jeans?
No, bro, I don't even buy any jeans, man. I'm simple, bro. I don't believe, I have a different mentality when it comes to those things. I don't, for me, if I make some money, I want to give it to my church. I want to give it to my parents, and then, put some money away for investments into that.
And the craziest part, and I'm going to, interject right there, or just come in on this, because like I said, this has been the same Eddie that I've known for 8 or 9 years. So it's not because something happened negative in his life that now he wants to contribute or give back. This has been the same, the same man that I met that has only gotten better. So I could tell you, thank you for your friendship.
No, thank you.
Yeah, kudos to you. Hey, I got a question, Eddie.
Ask away.
I want you to tell people out there that are going through adversity. You've been locked up. To me, that's probably somewhere a lot of people don't want to go, and probably have a hard time coming out of that.
Oh, it's horrible, dude.
And then people that think that their lives are like so difficult right now, because we're always so much concentrated on our lives and what's going down with us right now. But you've actually gone through all that, man, and you've conquered it, and you're on the other side. Yeah. Tell people, like, how does it feel, and how do they got to get their mindset straight?
It's pretty cliche when you say that, everyone or someone else has it harder than you do. And it's not until you hit rock bottom that you realize, damn, I didn't have it as bad as I thought I did. In our industry, we're not only in our industry, but in this country, we're pretty blessed to be able to do things that we do and have the types of things that we're having. And take us, for example, I'm in an office, my partner's on the phone. I'm going to go to a nice house with my kids. And, 4 or 5 years ago, I was locked up in prison eating top ramen, with a single blanket, freezing cold. I think your mindset has to be deeply rooted in faith, at least for myself. So, other people believe in the universe, other people believe in positive reinforcement, other people believe in whatever they want to believe in. But for myself, what got me out of that mental state of mediocrity was the fact that I know that Jesus has more for me as long as I follow his word. I need to be the best person that I can. It doesn't mean that it has to be the best person for you guys, but I have to be the best version that he made me be. The problem is, I think most of us try to run other people's races. We see this guy doing this and he's being successful. Let me go and try and do that. But God only made one Jaime. Jesus only made one Jesse. And Jesus only made one Eddie. And no one could do what Eddie could do other than Eddie. So until Eddie masters the best version of Eddie, then I'm taking away from the world, and I'm actually insulting God because I'm not honoring him. The problem is Eddie sees Ricardo Acevedo do 350 transactions, and I want to do what Ricardo Acevedo does. That's not Eddie's race. That's not my race. That's Ricardo Acevedo.
I like it.
And Ricardo was meant to do maybe 1,000 transactions because he's a phenomenal agent. Eddie might have not meant to do that. It doesn't mean that I cannot strive to be a better version of myself. It doesn't mean that I cannot strive to be a better flip investor, a better whatever I'm going to choose to do. But I have to look within myself first to better myself, to become that better version, instead of looking at other people and trying to become their version. And that's where people go wrong. And that's where people feel empty. You're not going to find true happiness until you're like, you know what, man? Like, I'm cool. I'm cool the way that I am. It doesn't mean that I can't better myself. You know what? Hey, I'm overweight. I got to go to the gym. You know, you still got to work to be better, a better version of yourself. And I think people fall short of that. They try to become a better version of someone else before they become a better version of themselves.
All right. So here we go. We're going to fast forward now, and I'm going to fast forward, I don't know, 17 and a half years. Almost 18 years. All right.
All right.
And this video now is going to little Nico and little Eddie.
Okay.
And these are your sons, right? Your two sons?
2 boys.
What message do you want to tell them today?
Make sure that you take care of others before you take care of yourself. Make sure that you love Jesus the way that he loves you. And make sure that you follow his #1 commandment, which is love your neighbor more than you love yourself. And if you really think about it, if we really do that, everything else takes care of itself. Everything else does. We just don't follow that. We tend to love us before we love others. And if you love others before you love you, this place we call life and the world will be a lot better. It will be a lot better place.
That's awesome, bro. Love it.
That's what I will tell them. Everything else will take care of itself. Love God first. Love others before you. And then God will take care of you. God always takes care of us. We just don't give him the chance. We try to take the job away from him.
What if you were to sum it up, and let's say with this verse, right? And I want to know what your definition of this verse is. Be still and know that I am God.
Correct.
How would that have helped you in all of your entrepreneurship?
You know, that's a good verse. That is basically letting you know that you have faith and learn to trust. You know, we trust God whenever things are good. We trust him whenever we want to trust him, but we don't trust him fully. You know, we pray to him and we ask for things all the time. And I've learned one thing. Instead of asking for presents, because we're asking for presents, God gave me this. Can you give me a better deal? Can you give me a better job? We need to ask for his presence. We need to ask for him to be in our lives. Instead of for his presence, we need to ask for his presence. A lot different. And we tend to ask for a lot of presents instead of having him be in our presence.
Being selfish.
Yeah. The human nature.
Yeah, no. So now being a dad, Eddie, and striving to get home, you know, at a earlier time. I see the wife, you know, is also self-employed.
Yeah.
How has that brought you two closer together? Because in this business, we do have couples that, you know, are both self-employed and, you know, there is no check, there is no benefits. How has that balance, you know, came in your own household?
You know, being self-employed is difficult to begin with because you don't have a steady check. You work and you get paid and it's sporadic. My wife does hair, so she's the same way. If she doesn't have clients, she doesn't get paid. So we both learn and understand that, hey, sometimes what we want, it's not really what we need. So spending so much time together because the babies are at home, and you know, I can't leave her with 2 babies. So I don't have the luxury of saying, hey, listen, I'm going to take off and have a drink with the guys or whatever. Once we get home with the babies, she's with one 24/7. I'm with one 24/7. So that's brought us a lot closer together. And you know, I love my wife. She is a phenomenal mom, but she is more understanding than anybody else. I'm a very difficult person to be with. So she doesn't ever scheme away from our you know, our goal, which is have the best life for our baby. She doesn't ask for, hey, let's go shopping, or, you know, we don't get into arguments because she wants the latest bag or because she wants this or that. She is, luckily for me, and I am blessed because she is that way, she's very humble. She's very humble. So we don't, money to her is the same like it is to me. It's just.
Well, that's cool. And I know that the only time she does get mad at you is when you don't take out the trash.
That and when I don't clean the cats.
Clean the cats?
My cats. Yeah, bro. Cats. I'm a cat guy.
That's super cool.
Yeah, I'm a cat guy.
Wow. So, Eddie, you're an open book.
Yeah, dude.
I really didn't expect any of this. That was going to come out of it. But can you think of something else before we wrap this up? Of something that someone does not know about you? What would be something that, you know, would surprise, you know, people about you?
I'm an extremely shy person. I'm very shy, and I'm very insecure about myself within, you know, my parameters in life. I think that, you know, people that are watching the show, we all go through shit, man. We all go through tribulations. Don't be shy to ask questions. Don't be shy to ask for help. You know, I was like that before. I had a lot of pride and I had a lot of ego when I was younger. And in this business, man, you can't grow without asking for help, without, you know, teaming up with people, without partnering with people. You know, our business is very greedy. We tend to keep it all to ourselves instead of sharing with others. But I've grown in my business because I've been lucky enough, like I told you guys earlier, to have been partnered and shared all this info with great people. You, Jesse, you know, my partner Rudy, you know, Kevin's, I keep mentioning them, my buddy Uriel, you know, even other people that I'm probably gonna forget that I apologize, that I've had a huge influence in my life. You know, my buddy Danny. You have to be able to share, and you have to be able to, hey man, I need help with this. Can you help me, or do you know anyone that can? And I think the ego, and I think we get in our own way. And if I could tell anything to anyone that's watching, just lower your guard. You know, people are going to talk shit about you. People are going to, you know, disregard what you say. People are probably not going to want to help you, but someone will. And I think the problem is we don't give enough people chances. You know, we give up too easily. We ask, you know, 2 people for help, and it's the third person that's not only going to help you, they're going to catapult you, you know, to the next level. But we expect help from the first person, and you can't be that way. You have to keep trying. You got to work. You know, we live in a society now that we're entitled. We want to do the least amount of work for the maximum amount of money. Whereas before, it was a complete opposite. You did a ton of work for a little bit of money. But I think that if people humble themselves and understand that, hey, not everyone out there is out to take me. Not everyone out there is out to jack me, or, you know, not everybody's shady. You will succeed. You know, hey, I in this business, you know, Jesse, we've talked about it. There's certain agents that have, you know, try to pull a fast one on me. And hey, listen, that you can't be concerned with that. It's going to happen. You know, rain comes down on the worthy and the unworthy. So the minute we understand that that's just life and it's going to happen, then you won't be as stressed as, you know, as things come up. But you just got to keep working. You got to keep trying. You got to keep asking. You got to keep partnering up, and just be honest, man. In this business, it's a small business, and everyone knows everybody, or everyone knows someone that knows someone. At least for myself, I know anyone that knows me knows that, hey, that guy could be a dick. He's, you know, he's grumpy and moody, but this is something that I'm very proud of. I am an extremely honest person. I have never stolen anything from anybody. You know, my flaw was I was a drug dealer and I sold drugs, but I've never been a thief. I've never been someone that cannot say, hey, I don't know, bro, watch out for that dude. He might, you know, fuck, he's a little shady. That will never be something that is, you know, connotated with my name at all, ever,
right.
Ever. And
right. I really appreciate, I mean, we really appreciate you coming on and, you know, giving your story. And I hope people out there really realize that, you know, the adversity that you've gone through, dealing with the mindset issues, we all deal with that. Yeah. And you've come through it. You've dealt with it just like everybody else is. you know, but I think what you the underlining, things that I'm hearing from you is obviously your faith and a lot of your network of having that positive network,
Positive
that
network,
really
man.
keep a sound foundation for you.
Absolutely.
So we really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. So if somebody wants to get a hold of you, if they want to do some deals with you, how can they get a hold of you?
They can send me a text. My number is 909-831-7838. My email is calhomesgroup, CALHOMES group @gmail.com. And I'm on Facebook, Eddie Salinas. I'm on Instagram. I don't post much. I'm starting to post more now because it's pictures of my babies. But, I'm a very I'm a very private person, man. I like to be undercover. I like to just do my work and go home and go to church. That's basically what I am. But if anybody has questions, if I could help anybody out with, going through issues that I went through, depression, anything like that, man, just hit me up. I'm an open book. You could ask me anything and I will tell you the truth. It might shock you, but it's going to be the truth because that's who I am. I keep it 100 and I'm always going to be honest.
Right on, bro. Again, we appreciate it.
Thank
you again. So if anybody out there, you guys want to get on the show or know anybody else that would be a good fit for this or any questions that you guys want us to know, hit us up and let us know. Until next time, peace out, guys.